Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Have you ever noticed how a woman suddenly changes her tone, withdraws her warmth, or even throws a little storm into your calm sky, right when everything seemed to be going well? Most men think it's random, or that she's just being emotional. But what if I told you that moment is no accident? It's a test, not a cruel trick, not a game. A test of patience that women instinctively use, especially with older men. And here's the truth that unsettles many men. She is not testing you to destroy you. She is testing you to reveal you. You see, women live in a world where emotions are their compass. They don't measure strength by the size of your muscles or the thickness of your wallet. Not truly. They measure it by your capacity to remain calm when the storm rises. She wants to know, can you hold steady when she loses balance? Can you ground her when the world feels shaky? She needs to see if you are the man who reacts or the man who responds. Because here is what nobody told you. Your patience is her proof of your power. Older men often attract younger women because they radiate a kind of calm that younger men lack. But that calm will always be tested. Why? Because deep down, she fears it could be an illusion. She wonders, is his composure real, or is it just a mask? And so, in subtle ways, she'll create little sparks of chaos. She'll disagree with you, withdraw affection, delay her reply, or even accuse you of something that isn't true. Not because she wants to push you away, but because she wants to see if you can withstand the push without breaking. The tragedy is that many men fail this test. They explode, argue, defend, or chase. They reveal the weakness she was praying not to find. But when a man stays unshaken, when he listens with stillness, when he pauses instead of attacking, suddenly her fear dissolves. She feels safe, and safety is the deepest drug a woman can never resist. That is why she tests. It is not to hurt you. It is to find out if your strength is real. And now, let me tell you the part that most men never realize. Patience is not silence. It's not pretending you don't care. It's something else entirely. Patience, my friend, is misunderstood by almost every man who tries to master it. Most think it means sitting quietly, biting their tongue, or ignoring the storm until it passes. That's not patience, that's suppression. And suppression eventually leaks out as anger, bitterness, or cold withdrawal. Real patience is power under control. It's being able to feel the heat without letting it dictate your move. It's not about silence, it's about presence. It's about standing there, calm but engaged, firm but compassionate, strong without needing to show off your strength. When a woman tests an older man's patience, she's not waiting to see if he can avoid conflict. She's waiting to see if he can guide it. Imagine her emotional wave crashing against the shore. A weak man either tries to fight the water and drowns, or he runs from the tide and abandons her. But a man with patience, he becomes the rock, unmoved, steady. The wave crashes, but it cannot erase him. That's when a woman feels it, the relief of knowing she's with someone who cannot be easily broken. Now, you might wonder, why do women especially test older men? Because when a younger woman is drawn to an older man, part of her attraction comes from the image of maturity, wisdom, and calm he carries. But attraction without verification is just fantasy. She must confirm that the maturity isn't just age, it's mastery. That the calm isn't just experience, it's essence. So she will test, not once, not twice, but in cycles. And every test is her way of saying, show me you're real. Fail the test, and her attraction begins to fade, no matter how much she was once drawn to you. Pass it, and her admiration deepens, almost against her will. Because deep in her psychology, safety and respect are more intoxicating than looks, money, or charm. You can buy her gifts, you can tell her words, you can take her places, but none of it matters if, when the storm comes, you crumble. So the next time a woman withdraws, lashes out, or questions your actions, don't see it as an attack. See it as the very moment she is asking you silently, "Can I trust this man with my heart?" If you can answer with patience, not weakness, not aggression, but patience, you win the test she never admitted she was giving you. But here's the darker truth that most men don't want to face. Sometimes, her tests aren't about you at all. Sometimes her tests are not born from doubt in you, but from shadows inside her. A woman may carry wounds you did not cause, betrayals, abandonment, disappointments from men who came before you. These scars whisper in her ear that no man is truly safe, that every calm will eventually erupt into chaos. So when she feels herself falling for you, her own fear rises. And in that fear, she will test. Not because you've done something wrong, but because she is fighting the ghosts of her past through the body of her present. This is where most men fail, because they take her test personally. They think, why is she accusing me? Why is she doubting me? Why can't she just relax and trust? And in that frustration, they argue, defend, or walk away. But here's the truth she'll never say out loud. Her tests are not just about your strength. They are about healing hers. If you lose patience, you confirm her fears that men cannot be trusted. If you stand firm, calm, but present, you become the proof her wounds told her did not exist. You become the evidence that not all men abandon, not all men explode, not all men betray. Older men especially attract these kinds of tests because women assume you've lived long enough to carry discipline, composure, and wisdom. You become a symbol of the fatherly strength they never had, or the partner they've been searching for. That's why your patience isn't just about keeping peace, it's about breaking generational cycles inside her. When you pass her test, you don't just win her admiration, you shift her reality. But let me warn you, patience is not passive. If you think being a statue will make her feel safe, you're wrong. Women test because they want to feel your presence, your boundaries, your leadership. They want to know you won't collapse, but they also want to know you won't disappear into silence. True patience is the balance of listening without reacting, standing your ground without crushing hers, guiding without controlling. That's the art. That's the power. And here's where it gets dangerous, because the very moment you display this kind of patience, she will push harder. Why? Because she needs to see if your strength was a one-time performance or your true nature. Now the question is, how do you show her patience without losing your own dignity or letting her walk over you? The answer lies in the way you respond. Response. That's the secret word. Not reaction, not retreat. Response. When she tests you, you are standing at a crossroads. One road is reaction, quick, emotional, defensive, usually explosive. The other road is retreat, silence, avoidance, giving her control while you shrink. Both roads lead to failure. Reaction breaks trust, retreat kills attraction. But response, that middle path, is where patience becomes power. So what does response look like? It's when she challenges your decision, and instead of snapping back, you look her in the eye and calmly say, "I hear you, but this is what I believe is best." It's when she throws accusations, and you don't argue the details. You let her words land, you pause, and then you speak truth with calmness instead of fire. It's when she withdraws affection, and you don't chase with desperation, but you also don't punish with coldness. You remain steady, present, open. This is how a man shows he is unshakable. Understand this. Women don't respect men who fold. They don't admire men who beg. But they also don't feel safe with men who explode. What she's searching for is a man who can absorb pressure without losing himself. That's why patience is not weakness. It's a display of controlled strength. Every response you give shows her whether you are a man of discipline or a man at the mercy of his emotions. Older men, you have an advantage here. Life has already thrown storms at you. Business failures, losses, betrayals, heartbreaks. You've seen chaos and survived it. That history is your arsenal. But if you allow yourself to react like a boy or retreat like a coward, you erase the very advantage your years have given you. A younger man may have looks or energy, but you have one weapon he cannot imitate: presence born from patience. Use it. And here's the twist. When you respond with calm authority, women don't just feel safe, they feel desire. Because a man who cannot be shaken is a man who awakens their deepest femininity. Their energy softens, their guard lowers, and in that moment, the test becomes attraction. The fire that was once meant to burn you becomes the very flame that lights her admiration. But this is where many men fall into another trap, thinking they must endure every test endlessly. That's not true. There comes a point when patience transforms into boundaries, and without them, you lose yourself. Boundaries are where patience finds its backbone. Without them, patience looks like weakness. With them, patience becomes unshakable strength. You see, a woman doesn't only test your calm, she also tests the edges of your self-respect. She wants to know if your patience is born from power or from fear. If you tolerate disrespect, insults, or manipulation, she won't see strength. She'll see surrender. And no woman truly respects a man who surrenders himself just to keep her. So how do you combine patience with boundaries? It's simple, but not easy. When she pushes too far, crossing the line from testing into disrespect, you don't explode and you don't retreat. You respond with clarity. You tell her calmly and firmly, "I won't accept being spoken to this way." Or, "I understand you're upset, but this is not how we solve things." Your tone stays calm, your body language steady, but your words draw a line in the sand. That is patience with power. And here's the secret most men never realize. Women don't lose attraction when you set boundaries. They lose attraction when you fail to. Because deep down, a woman wants to know that the man she gives herself to has a spine, that he can protect not just her, but himself. Boundaries are proof that your patience is not tolerance of abuse, but discipline in the face of chaos. Older men, this is where your wisdom must shine. You've had enough years to learn that not every battle is worth fighting, but also that some battles cannot be ignored. A younger man often swings between extremes, either becoming too controlling or too submissive. But you're expected to hold the middle ground, calm but firm, patient but not a pushover, kind but never blind. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you set boundaries with patience, women test you less. Because once they see your calm is real and your spine is strong, the need to push fades. The storm quiets. She feels safe in your frame, and her energy softens naturally. That's when the relationship deepens, not just emotionally, but physically, spiritually, and psychologically. But let me leave you with the hardest truth yet. No matter how strong, patient, or wise you are, some women will test endlessly, not because of you, but because they cannot heal within themselves. And that is where your final lesson as a man begins. There will be women who test not to confirm your strength, but to drain it. Women who are not searching for safety, but for control. Women whose wounds run so deep that no amount of your patience, presence, or boundaries will ever satisfy their fear. And this is where many older men lose themselves, thinking they can heal what only she can heal. You must understand this. Patience is a gift, but it is not a prison. When your patience becomes endless endurance of pain, it stops being power and becomes self-destruction. The real wisdom is knowing the difference. If your patience inspires respect, deepens connection, and brings her closer, you are with the right woman. If your patience only invites more chaos, more disrespect, more endless cycles of drama, then you are not with a woman testing for safety. You are with a woman trapped in her own battlefield. And you cannot win a war that was never yours to fight. That's when walking away becomes the most powerful act of patience you can ever display. Because here's the truth. Patience isn't just about how long you can endure. It's about knowing what is worth enduring for. A woman who respects your patience will soften into trust. A woman who abuses your patience will harden into disrespect. And the longer you stay, the more she loses respect for you, and the more you lose respect for yourself. That is the cost of not recognizing when the test has already been failed, not by you, but by her inability to grow. Older men, listen carefully. Your greatest strength is not only that you can endure storms, it is that you can choose which storms are worth facing. Patience with the right woman creates harmony, intimacy, and loyalty. Patience with the wrong woman only erodes your soul. The test is not only hers, it's yours. Can you stay calm enough to see the truth? Can you be strong enough to walk away when needed? That decision defines you more than any response you ever gave. So I'll leave you with this. The next time a woman tests your patience, ask yourself, is she searching for my strength, or is she feeding on it? Your answer will tell you everything you need to know. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced a woman's test that shook your patience to the core? Did you pass, or did you lose yourself in the storm? Share your story in the comments below. And if this video opened your eyes, don't just keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share it with a brother who needs to hear this today.